Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining with us today as well to our daily Buddha Puja, Paritta chanting and meditation. So it's nice to spend some time, especially during the lockdown period, with religious practices. So every evening we have been broadcasting live from Facebook and YouTube channel lmmc.online. So you can friends who do not have Facebook can be directed to YouTube as well. So today we have a sponsorship for Puja. Okay. The evening worship, chanting and meditation is sponsored by Tilini Vijayasuriya, along with her husband Parakum Vijayasuriya, commemorating 3 months occasion of the death of Tilini's dear father, Amardas Induruva, beloved husband of Sujata, beloved father of Sujani and Tilini, and also grandfather of Selina and Angelina. So we dedicate this puja for Amardas Indru, who passed away 3 months ago. May he be well, happy wherever he is. May he continue his spiritual path and eventually attain the blissful state of Nibbana. Okay. We also remember today Sampath Vijayasinghe, who is ill, critically ill. So we wish him good health. May you achieve good health, happiness, and may you enjoy good health after recovery as well. So we're going to chant and dedicate for your well-being. We also dedicate, as usual, the puja and chanting for all participants for your good health, happiness, and prosperity. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. May you enjoy good health during this time of distress. We also dedicate the chanting to all key workers working tirelessly to serve the nation and the world, especially the NHS doctors and staff looking after our patients and families that have been affected by COVID-19. May everyone enjoy good health. May they gain courage and determination to continue their valuable services. So with those kind intention, we will start our puja. So say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. අදින්නාදානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දත්තානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. තිසරණේන සද්ධින් පංචසීලං ධම්මං අප්පමාදේන සම්පාදේ තබ්බං. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතු සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතු සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතු අරහතු සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස. ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ වෙච්ඡාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති. බුද්ධං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි. යේච බුද්ධා අතීතා ච යේච බුද්ධා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නා චෛ බුද්ධා අහං වන්දාමි සබ්බදා. නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං බුද්ධෝ මේ සරණං වරං. ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං. උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං පාදපං සුවරුත්තමං. බුද්ධේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ බුද්ධෝ khමතු තං වමං. ස්වාක්ඛාතෝ භගවතා ධම්මෝ සම්දිට්ඨිකෝ අකාලිකෝ ඒහි පස්සිකෝ ඕපනයිකෝ පච්චත්තං වේදිතම්බෝ විඤ්ඤෝහිති. ධම්මං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි. යේච ධම්මා අතීතා ච යේච ධම්මා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නා චෛ ධම්මා අහං වන්දාමි සබ්බදා. නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං ධම්මෝ මේ සරණං වරං. ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං. උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං ධම්මං ච ත්‍රිවිධං වරං. ධම්මේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ ධම්මෝ khමතු තං මමං. සුපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ උජ්ජපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ ඥායපටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ ශාවක සංඝෝ සාමීචි පටිපන්නෝ භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ යදිදං චත්තාරි පුරිස යුගානි අට්ඨ පුරිස පුග්ගලා ඒස භගවතෝ සාවක සංඝෝ ආහුනේයෝ පාහුනේයෝ දක්ඛිනේයෝ අංජලි කරණීයෝ අනුත්තරං පුඤ්ඤක්ඛෙත්තං ලෝකස්සාති සංඝං ජීවිතං යාව නිබ්බානං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි යේච සංඝා අතීතා ච යේච සංඝා අනාගතා පච්චප්පන්නා ච යේ සංඝා අහං වන්දාමි සබ්බදා නත්ථි මේ සරණං අඤ්ඤං සංඝෝ මේ සරණං වරං ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන හෝතු මේ ජය මංගලං උත්තමංගේන වන්දේහං සංඝං ච ත්‍රිවිධෝත්තමං සංඝේයෝ කලිතෝ දෝසෝ සංඝෝ khමතතං මමං කනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදංසිනා තිලෝක දීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමෝනුදං ගන්ධ සම්භාර යුත්තේන ධූපේනහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයන්තං පූජා භාජන මුත්තමං වන්න ගන්ධ ගුණපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සන්තතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුහේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නීන පුඤ්ඤේන මේතේ නච හෝතු මොක්ඛං පුප්පං මිලායාති යථා ඉදම්මේ කායෝ තථා යාති විනාශ භාවං අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ පානීයං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තමේ අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ කිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තමේ අධිවාසේතුනෝ භන්තේ සබ්බං සද්ධාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු උත්තමේ වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බධානි සුපතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධින් බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා යස්ස මූලේ නිසින්නෝ වේ සබ්බාරි විජයං අකා පත්තෝ සබ්බඤ්ඤුතං සත්තා වන්දේ තං බෝධිපාදපං ඉමේ ඒතේ මහා බෝධි ලෝකනාථේන පූජිතා අහං පිතේ නමස්සාමි බෝධිරාජා නමත්තේ කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං khමමේ භන්තේ භූරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන maya katang Acchayang kamami dhamme sanditthika akalika Kayena vacha cittena pamadena maya katang Acchayang kamami sangha supatipanna anuttara Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadang Sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya idamme punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu samba dukkha pamuncatu Okay, so thank you for joining with us so far. Okay, this is our live broadcast of daily worship, Paritta chanting and meditation. So you can join us by Facebook or even by YouTube live channel. Just search for lmmc.online and you'll be directed to that. Okay, so now, as I said before, the chanting is dedicated to everyone else's well-being. Okay, so Ratana Sutta especially was delivered by the Buddha, or the content was uttered by the Buddha when there were issues of famine, death, and even illnesses in Visala city. And when approached, the Buddha gave these verses to Venerable Ananda to chant out of compassion and sprinkle water around the city. It is recorded that everyone or the city gradually started to recover. Illnesses started to ward off. So that's why at the end of every verse we say, Etena Satchena Suvati Hotu. By the recitation of this truth, or the content of the truth, by the recitation of that, may you be well, happy, and peaceful. Okay, so at the end of the suttas also we say, Dukkha upasamantute, may you be free from suffering. Bhaya upasamantute, may you be free from fear. Roga upasamantute, may you be free from every illness. So we chant regularly to bless you, and participating via on Facebook or YouTube. So live participation, listening to the chanting will develop focus, and as well as to by listening to the chanting, you are out of faith and you will receive the blessings. So we dedicate the chanting for your well-being. Especially today we also remember Sampath Vijayasinghe, who is ill, and the sponsors of today's puja, Tilini and Parakum, wanted to bless him as well, as much as they are blessing their beloved father who passed away 3 months ago, Mr. Amardas Indruva. May he be well and happy wherever he is and eventually attain the blissful state of Nibbana. So we also dedicate the chanting to everyone affected by COVID-19. May you gain speedy recovery and enjoy good health. And also to the NHS staff, doctors, nurses, admin, everyone working tirelessly to look after patients and families. May you have every courage and determination to continue your valuable services to the nation and the patients. So please listen to the chantings with attention and respect. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Saggamokkadam Rajassa Sunantu Saggamokkadam Paritta Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Paritta Savana Kalu Ayang Bhadanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Yani dabhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vayantalikhe Sabbeva bhuta sumana bhavantu atopi sakkacca sunantu bhasitam Tasmahi bhutani sametha sabbe mettam karotha manusiya pajaya Divacarato ce haranti e baling tasmahi nirakkata appamatta Yankinci vittang idhavahurang vasagge suvayang ratanang panitang Nano samang attitathagateena idampi buddhe ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Kayang viragang ametang panitang yadajjaga sakya muni samahito Natena dhammena samatti kinci idampi dhamme ratanang panitang Etena saccena suvatti hotu Yang buddha settha parivannai sucing samadhimanantarikanyamahu Samadhina tena samona vijjati idampi dhamme ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu ye puggala atta satang pasattha cattari etani yugani honti te dakhineya sugatassa savaka ete sudinnani mahaphalani Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye suppayutta manasa dalhena nikkamino gotama sasanam hi Te patti patta amatang vigaihe laddha mudha nibbuting bhunjamana Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Yathinda khilo pathaving sitosiya chatubbiva tebhiya sampakampiyo Tathupamang sappurisang vadami yo variya saccani avecca passati Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvatti hotu Ye ariya saccani vibhavayanti gambhira panyena sudesitani Kincapite honti bhusappamatta nate bhavang attamang adiyanti Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu. Sahavassa dassana sampadaya tayasu dhamma jahita bhavanti. Sakkaya ditthi vichikichitancha silabbatang vapi yadatti kinchi. Chatuha payehi ca vippamutto cacabithanani abhabbo katung. Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu. Kincapi sokammang karoti papakang kayena vaca udacetasa abhabbo tassa paticcādāya abhabbata dittha padassa buddhā. Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu. Vanappagumbe yatha pussitagge gimhanamase pathamasmin gimhe. Tathupamang dhamma varang adesai nibbānagāmiṃ paramang hitāya. Idampi buddhe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu. Varo varanyo varado varaharo anuttaro dhamma varang adesai. Idampi buddhe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu. Hīnang purānang navang natti sambhavang viratta citta āyatike bhavasmiṃ. Te khīna bija avirulhicchanda nibbanti dhīrā yathāyang padīpo. Idampi sanghe ratanang panitang etena saccena suvattiyotu. Yani dabhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vayantalikhe. Tathāgatang deva manusa pujitang buddhang namassāma suvattiyotu. Yani dabhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vayantalikhe. Tathāgatang deva manusa pujitang dhammang namassāma suvattiyotu. Yani dabhutani samagatani bhummani vayani vayantalikhe. Tathāgatang deva manusa pujitang sanghang namassāma suvattiyotu. Etena sacca vajjena sabba dukkhang vinassatu. Etena sacca vajjena sabba bhayo vinassatu. Etena sacca vajjena sabba rogo vinassatu. Devo vassatu kālena sassa sampatti hetu ca. Pīto bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha deva nāga mahiddhika. Puññantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu loka sāsanang. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha deva nāga mahiddhika. Puññantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu dhamma desanang. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha deva nāga mahiddhika. Puññantang anumoditva cirang rakhantu mang paranti. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So we wish Sampat Vijay Sangha speedy recovery, and may you enjoy good health following that, because may you be well, happy and peaceful. May all of you participating also enjoy good health and be happy and peaceful. So, as you know, we broadcast our Buddha Vandana, Buddha Puja, Paritta chanting, and meditation live. You can join us even by YouTube, okay? So if you do not have Facebook, you are able to join by YouTube. So you can direct your friends who might want to join. So just ask them to type, lmmc.online in YouTube, and you can follow us. So the chanting was dedicated for the good health, happiness of everyone participating, the NHS staff, the patients. So may the patients, may everyone affected by COVID-19 and families, members be well, happy and peaceful. May we gain speedy recovery. May all the staff have courage and determination to continue their valuable services during this pandemic. Okay, so may you all be well, happy and peaceful. So now we are doing our meditation. So if you have been joining us for the past few weeks, we do Metta Bhavana, supporting it with mindfulness meditation or mindfulness supporting with Metta. Okay, so I have 3 requests if you are joining us. Okay, so the first request is to have a balanced body. So I'm going to move my chair. Okay. So have a balanced body like this, so straight. So I'm not slanting or I'm not moving around. So have a good balanced body. Wherever you are sitting, that's fine. Okay. So one request is not to lean your back. So if you're on a chair like myself, don't lean on the back. So your back has to stay away, detached from the resting area. Unless you have a physical difficulty, please come forward. So if you're sitting on a sofa, you tend to obviously stay relaxed. So maybe you can avoid that for this time. So your feet have to be firm on the floor. If you're sitting on the carpet, even avoid resting against the wall or even the sofa or chair. Okay, so second request is to keep your hands to yourself. So no fidgeting, you're not fidgeting your hand. So just keep to yourself. Okay, so best way is to put your right hand on your left palm and straight. Okay, so if you place them on your lap, it will also support your body. And third request is to close your eyes. So you might want to take your eyes off the screen and just listen to this guided practice. So balanced body, fingers to yourself, hands to yourself, and eyes closed. 3 things to do before you sit down for meditation. If you feel a bit uncomfortable, maybe just adjust yourself, because for the next few minutes you are going to stay the way you are. So be determined not to move. So once you finalize your posture, your sitting position, just be mindful of the way your body is sitting. So the way you've chosen your posture, just be mindful of it. To sit straight. It's quiet, it's peaceful, it's not moving as it was before puja. So you can just observe your stillness and be mindful of that. This is the way my body is at the moment. So if you have family members sitting with you, just be mindful of their presence and be aware that their bodies are also still. Or if they are not, just be mindful of what is happening around. You don't have to open your eyes for that, just be mindful of it. And the third mindfulness that you have to develop now is just be aware of the infrastructure, or perhaps the way your room is laid out. It could be your sitting room, kitchen, bedroom. Just be mindful of your presence within those infrastructure. And back to yourself, so you can see that everything is still, quiet, and peaceful. Perhaps what is not, as I always say, is the mind very actively working on things. So now let's try to let go of those things, let go of the thoughts, that were there. If you are thinking about what is happening or what happened or what is going to happen, just free yourself from that. Remember, being free is part of the practice. Being free from everything allows you to have a very good ground to develop metta or loving kindness. And you can just focus on the word happiness. So if you have been participating with us for the last few days and weeks, we've been focusing on what is happiness. Obviously we have our definitions for happiness, but there is an ideal understanding that, it's free from problems, it's free from illnesses, it is free from, distress, free from negative emotions. It's joyful, it's peaceful. Now, this is what Buddhists use the word metta, loving kindness. So it is a type of happiness that we wish for everyone, yourself and others, without discrimination. It's the concept of well-being. The opposite is ill wishing. So we don't wish harm to others. So yesterday we discussed, or we reflected that, there are certain things that stop you from being happy. Lots of things. From your deeply rooted greed and hate, which we are going to discuss today. So deeply rooted greed and hatred. Sometimes proliferating to envy, jealousy, revenge. So they stop you from, becoming happy. Because if you want to wish yourself happy and well-being and goodness, you got to learn how to get rid of or let go of the things, especially the emotions that actually are present when those things might appear in your mind. So yesterday we were saying that one of the key things that actually stop us from being happy is our attachment, greed. The attachment to perhaps non-living things like your possessions. Sometimes it might be harsh to say that think of a very valuable sentimental item. How deeply are you attached to it? So anything happening to it, from changing to breaking, it affects your state of mind, that peace of mind. You will start becoming upset, worrying. And they are harmful for that peace of mind. We can be attached to our beliefs, attached to our things you do, duties, attached to our properties. In deeper context, we use the word clinging. So you might not be touching them, but deep inside there is a big place for those attachments. Even if you leave your house, you might be driving somewhere, suddenly something might come to your head. Maybe, oh, did I lock the door? So then you start worrying about things inside your house. And then your peace of mind is gone. So greed can be, or attachment or clinging, can start, nurtured into, can be nurtured into what we call ego and self and personality developments. So the personality that you develop, you start thinking it's this I that is experiencing this happiness, and I don't want to not be happy. I don't want to be unhappy. So you can see that, so this business of clinging, is stopping us from being happy. So the second thing which I wanted to share with you today was about anger. Wherever this attachment has been challenged, so last week we reflected that, when there is a challenge to this attachment or to this, clinging or understanding of this ego or self or personality, whichever you might want to, refer to, when that is actually been, in the forefront of all experiences, we tend to see there are challenges coming as well. Will it change? Why is it not happening this way? Why can't you do the way I say, I tell you? Why can't you agree with me? So you can see the challenges turned out to be sometimes bitter. So therefore, then it starts, letting a gateway for the manifestation of anger within ourselves. And then we will start developing what we call aversion, particular, or we will start developing every mechanism trying to justify yourself, and then that is tainted with anger. You start shouting if it doesn't work. You start using your hands if it doesn't work. You start arguing if it doesn't work, if it doesn't meet your expectation. We start losing patience. So that's the opposite of love, opposite of compassion, opposite of caring thoughts. Anger is opposite of those things. Anger is opposite of love, opposite of compassion, opposite of patience. So you can see that, when this starts to nurture deeply within yourself, we, especially during this lockdown, we start to personalize it. We take it personally. The frustration developing inside, you will start taking it a bit personally. Again, that is the ego, the self. Why do I have to do it, like this? Why can't you? Why can't I do what I want to do? So those frustration, the things that you want to do with your limited resources start, becoming the nurturing factors for this anger. You lose patience. When you lose patience, then sometimes what happens is you forget that you don't want to even accept that you are angry. You can't take that it is this anger that is controlling you. We forget that. Even if we realize that we are angry, then we don't want to admit our fault or our ways of looking as faulty. This is one of the crucial, reasons that we have to let go, especially when there is anger in the mindset. I'm going to repeat this again. Sometimes when there is no patience, we forget that we sometimes are angry as well. So we fail to take this understanding that there is anger within ourselves. So that's why we use the word we are blind with anger sometimes. And even if we accept that there is anger, sometimes we forget that there could be fault in the way you're looking. So there could be a fault in your reasoning sometimes. So we don't want to admit that there is a fault. So you might want to relate that to any experience for the past few days. If you have become angry at one point, see what made you angry. Is it your attachment that made you angry? Is it your ego that made you angry? Is it your desires that made you angry? Not getting what you want? Is it the heat that made you annoyed, frustrated, a little bit distressed? The heat wave affected us, You might even, be, is it the food that finished in the fridge, or is it the food that you didn't want get made you angry? Is it not getting the remote control of the TV that made you angry? So this anger starts affecting our relationships within, each other. Your partners, your children, they're not doing what you want. They're telling you they're not doing what you tell them to do. So in most cases, we've been reflecting that it is this letting go, that, if you let go of this anger, then only perhaps you can, you can deal with things without emotions attached to your next steps. You can kindly talk to the person who is in anger. You don't have to talk with anger. Anger plus anger will create more issues. You'll be mindful of what you say when a person is angry, because you are dealing with love, we are dealing with compassion. We are trying to make people see that there is a wrong in that incident. There's a fault in that incident. So you have to throw away that anger in the bin first, never visit it. Be confident in that release of anger. You don't have to be angry just because the other person is angry with you. You can let go of that anger. You don't have to even think of anger. Just be mindful that the other person is angry, and it will not harm your love and compassion to the person. Remember, attachment is different to loving kindness. It is the opposite of loving kindness. So when you say love, actually I'm talking about loving kindness here. Not lust or passion, but it is about caring, well-being, thinking, the thinking of goodwill. So with that, when you have goodwill at the forefront, you can approach anger without problems, without issues. Because one of the opposite factors is patience and forgiveness for anger. Compromise can become a condition, so we have to be careful. We're not putting a condition saying, if I do this, you have to do this. So more or less, sometimes forgiving and letting go can develop patience. And we'll find when you are patient enough, we will have time for reflection and find other avenues to work on things. So be confident in that letting go, throwing away your anger in the bin, throwing away the reasons that nurture that anger in the bin. Not the recycle bin, completely bin it. Don't allow anger to grow in your mindset, because that harms the relationship, that harms the environment in the household. Especially during this lockdown time, it can create a big chaos when we can't develop patience. I remember a story. There was one time when the Buddha was meditating in the forest. There was an old person, quite an elite person, but used to always get angry for everything. There are sometimes people like this. Everything they have to say something. They have to, make a comment. They have to, be angry for the slightest of things. And he heard that the Buddha never gets angry. So what he did was he wanted to test Buddha. He wanted to sort of like a challenge. It wasn't a challenge, but he wanted to see whether his way of lifestyle would actually affect the Buddha. Buddha was meditating. He comes to the Buddha and started to insult the Buddha with every word he knew. He ran out of the vocabulary in his dictionary. He was insulting the Buddha. And normally, if it was us, we would associate ourselves with those insulting words, with whatever came, from the mouth of the other person, and we would get angry straight away. Imagine, people make accusations to you, you'd get angry so much. Imagine people actually doing things beyond your expectation or not the way you want them to do, and you would get angry. But the Buddha was not angry. Every insult, the Buddha was taking with an economist approach. Equanimity. So, this person got more irritated because the Buddha was not responding with anger. He came with expectation of to be a big fight, big argument, big debate. Buddha was very kindly, compassionately, listening and meditating. Buddha saw that this person was angry. This person's actions were out of anger. This person's words were coming out of anger. This person is full of anger in the mind. And the Buddha was just noticing and observing this patiently, compassionately. The person asked, "Why are you not angry?" And normally the Buddha's technique was sometimes to bring scenarios, and he said to this person, "Do you often visit your family, friends, relatives?" "Yeah, I visit every day." "Do you take anything when you go? Do you go empty-handed?" "Oh, no. I always take in some food or whatever I can buy on the way sometimes." "And if they do not want it, what do you do with your valuable gifts that you bought?" "I can't throw it in the bin, so I'll take it home and share with my wife and children." And then the Buddha said, "Your words, your insults are all that I don't want to accept, so you can do whatever you like." So the person got the hint. And then he was more pleased and he had more faith in the Buddha, and then obviously very impressed the way the Buddha dealt with it. Let us not associate with the events outside happening. The more you associate yourself with the events happening, the more you lose your patience and you develop anger, and then causing harm to your mental health. Because every time these emotions come and come and come and come, even if you want to throw them away, if you want to forget them, it again starts creeping it with ego, creeping it with pain and suffering. So when it affects your mental health, then there is no loving kindness. Loving kindness. If you're wishing yourself well, you have to take every step to wish yourself and do good things for yourself. So if you store this anger in your mind, it is not doing good to your health. If you store anger and jealousy and envy and aversion in your head, it is not good for the environment that you live in, your family, your household, your relationships. So throw it in the bin, and then there will be place for loving kindness. And that happiness is when you are able to skillfully throw it in the bin, there is happiness. There's so much happiness. There's so much faith and confidence in your action. Okay, so with that reflection, we are going to do our contemplation on metta and practice. So think of the well-wishing thoughts and ideas for yourself. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to me. May no problems come to me. May no difficulties come to me. May I always meet with success. May I also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May I be free from jealousy and anger. May I be free from pain and suffering. If the stations do not relate to you, you can just skip them. So bring only those who are alive into your minds. May my parents, grandparents, teachers, uncles, aunts and in-laws, husband, wife or partner, children, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, cousins, nephews and nieces, friends, neighbors, everyone in the neighborhood that you live in, and also some neutral people that you meet every day. May they all be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they also be free from jealousy and anger. May they be free from pain and suffering. May all living beings, including your pets, birds, animals, and insects in your garden, seen or unseen beings, including all sentient beings, be well, happy, and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they always meet with success. May they also have the patience, courage and understanding to meet and overcome difficulties in life. May they be free from pain and suffering. May I be well, happy and peaceful. May I be free from pain and suffering. May I be free from anger and jealousy. Okay. So thank you for joining us. This is the end of our broadcast, live broadcast of our evening Buddha Puja, Paritta chanting and reflection on how to get rid of your unwholesome thoughts and practice Metta Bhavana. So the reflection is supporting our practice to develop Metta throughout the day, from morning to evening. So do join us whenever you are free. So it is a good practice, especially during this lockdown time. An hour of religious practices in the evening is very good for your mental health, for your peace of mind as well. So every day at 6:30, do join us. So tomorrow we are also have our end of month, last Sunday of the month Dhamma sermon. So this will be in Sinhala. And please, if you are free, you can listen to us. So if you cannot, if you do not have Facebook, you can come to our YouTube channel as well, lmmc.online. Okay, so thank you for joining us today. So we hope you have a very happy and peaceful evening. So may you be well, happy and peaceful. Okay, Sadhu.